time for Tuesday with Thompson. Pete Thompson joins the show every Tuesday. What's on the mind of the PT? Well, out of nowhere yesterday, can you explain the thinking behind a random Tuesday on a day where the Eagles were talking, the Phillies were playing the Mets, Sixers had a game, that the Flyers just out of right field hired a coach?
It wasn't out of right field. I love that you're looking at my tweets, by the way, because, I tweeted the bejesus out of the Masters, but that's not important right now. If you scroll back through my tweets and you look on the 13th, which I believe was Saturday, you'll see that I retweeted Flyers to interview Alain Vigneault for their head coaching position. So it was on the radar as far back then. It wasn't like it was totally out of left field. And I heard you guys talking in the 4 o'clock hour to explain my tweet for the second best name. Well, obviously the biggest name out there was Joel Quenneville, but he got gobbled up so fast, this is the second best name.
Are you happy with them getting then the second best name?
Well, there's nothing more humbling than a 22-year-old that clips your ears and tells you you're an idiot. I initially was like, I think my initial text to Michael was Alain Vigneault. I don't know that he puts butts in the seats. I don't know that moves the needle. Plus he hasn't won any cups. And then I started looking up the guy a little bit, and you know what? He's been to 2 cup finals with 2 different teams. He played defense in the NHL. He's a defensive-minded coach in the NHL, in a league, by the way, that now is all run and gun and freewheeling and nobody can hit anybody. So you can look at that either way. But, look, the bottom line is he turns franchises around. Does he do it for long-term? Who knows? But every place that he's been, his first year on the bench has been a successful year, and hopefully he can do that with the Flyers.
Yeah, no, I was not aware of 3 things. 1, that the NHL playoffs started. We need the PT Hockey Minute back.
Wow.
Yeah.
2, I did not know that the Islanders were ready to sweep the Penguins. And 3, I did not know that the Blue Jackets were about ready to sweep the Lightning.
That's the big one. That's the big one that has everybody talking. It's so funny now when I'll get to school and somebody will say, wow, did you see Golden State blew that lead? And I'm thinking yeah, in my dreams. I was long asleep by the time that happened. But you better believe that the PT knew that Columbus is taking it to Tampa, and that's the curse of the President's Trophy, Mike Gill. If you win the record for the most points in the regular season, many times that team does not win the Cup. And not only does it look like they might not win the Cup, they might go out 0-4 and 0-4.
They were head and shoulders better than everybody else.
They were, look, when they played the Flyers the last time in Tampa, I think it was the last meeting of the regular season, or maybe it was up here. Whenever they matched up for the last time of the season, I was in awe of Tampa's passing ability and skating ability. And given that the Flyers were already a little leaky on defense to begin with, I thought, good Lord, they're head and shoulders above anybody in this league. But, see, that's the beauty of it. The whole regular season, Mike, nobody hits anybody. There's no fights. There's no physicality. Nobody's accountable. And then all of a sudden, the teams that tend to win the Cup are the teams that hit. Did you see Ovechkin fought the other night?
Dude, he knocked him out, PT.
You just dropped that guy. Boom, one punch.
That was legendary. That was like back in the 90s hockey. I love that.
Oh, yeah, I like that. I went to the fights and a hockey game broke out. Absolutely.
Yeah, we need a 5-on-5 goalie-on-goalie fight. That's all that's missing from NHL hockey.
Oh, I don't think that's happening.
No, I know.
But, I think the teams that win the Cup do have a little bit of physicality to them. The regular season, they tend to skate up and down. It's who can be more precise with their passing and faster skating and be able to put the puck in the net and sniper, pick the top corners, the bottom corners. But when you get to the playoffs, you got to be able to obviously grind it out, but you got to be able to both take a hit and give a hit.
So can we talk about some Masters, PT? Because I'm curious on your thoughts, man. I mean, we had a lot to talk about yesterday, and we still did today. But that win, PT, in my mind, is the greatest sports. I mean, probably the greatest comeback in all of sports, if not one of them. Just the story. I mean, the documentary and the movie about this whole career of Tiger Woods. Just talk about what you saw Sunday and what you meant. What it meant to you.
Your guy Gill Caps wishes you well.
Great. Yes, I was listening yesterday in the car. I listened to your whole interview with him, and then I texted him afterwards. I have to say, hey, it was nice to hear you on the radio on 97.3 ESPN, and sorry I missed you. But, yeah, I love Gill Caps. I'll tell you this, Ryan and Mike, when Tiger did the smart play, which was, like Jack says, hit it over the bunker, hit it right over the bunker, don't even try for the pin. Just hit it over the bunker on 12 and land it safely on the green, take your 2-putt and move on. That's the Tiger now that even when Tiger was overpowering the field, he would have just put the blinders on and tried to shoot right at the pin, and that's not the play. I mean, Molinari blinked and then blinked again, and, they got Koepka had a chance. I mean, there were big names in there, but, it's funny because, again, on Twitter, DJ, right? On Twitter, I was going back and forth with a guy, a Philadelphia sports writer is how I will identify him, and a man older than me. So if he's older than me, he remembers Jack in '86, and he was saying that Tiger's win was better than Jack. And I said, that's like comparing, who's the best NBA player ever, Michael Jordan or Will.
Right.
And he threw back like, well, somebody's got to win, and I thought, well, yeah, but I disagree with your point, sir. And I'm doing this all on Twitter, as I'm burning up my thumbs on the phone there, tweeting back and forth at this guy. Look, it's legendary.
PT going back and forth on Twitter is the best part of the story.
Yeah.
I know.
Should have led
that's
with
the
that.
part you like the most.
Oh, yeah.
See what you've created, Mike
The
Gill?
PT and his lazy boy with a pair of slippers on, hair just hanging out.
That is correct. That is correct. Hey, even Michael got into the Masters, because how can you not? It's a compelling story about a guy that last year, or 2 years ago, not last year, 2 years ago at the Masters, he had to have a nerve block just to make it up the 14 steps to get into the dining room for the champions dinner. Like, he had to have basically a shot in his back. That's how much he didn't think he could pick up his kids. He didn't think he could, run the vacuum. Not that he does that, but you know what I'm saying. Like, this guy didn't think he was ever going to play golf again. Sure, Tiger vacuums. Just ask him. Totally BS. But anyhow, it was a huge, huge statement. And then, as you guys astutely pointed out with Gill, the fact that the PGA's at Bethpage, U.S. Open's at Pebble, places he's won, I thought Jack was great too. They got Jack Nicklaus on the Golf Channel on the phone on Sunday night, and he said that where those two words says, "I'm quaking in my boots, guys," and then kind of chuckled. But, hey, look, if it's going to get broken, and I was the guy, I didn't think, not only did I not think he was going to win another major, I didn't think he was going to win a tournament again. So what he did last year in Atlanta at the end of the season was incredible, and then to go out and actually win the Masters, if there's a place.
That's what Gill said. Gill said Tiger arrived last year. It wasn't actually this year at the Masters.
Yeah.
He said he arrived last year.
Yeah, but nobody was paying attention because that was late September and we were into the pigskin. That's the truth, and that's why Gill's so awesome. I mean, you're right, Gill. Not you, Gill Caps Gill. There's too many Gills in this story.
He's only one out.
Gill Caps wrote a book about the Masters, so he knows what it takes to win there. But at the same time, he also knows golf well enough to know that when Tiger won at Eastlake last year, nobody was really paying. It wasn't just that he won; he kind of lapped the field. And the funny thing was, Ryan, to you, Gen X, if you will, or the millennial, or whatever your age group is, these guys, the Molinaris of the world, the Dustin Johnsons of the world, the Jason Days, they have never seen Tiger being Tiger.
That's what I was going to bring up with you. I can't believe you brought it up.
Well, they got a dose of it. Hey, be careful what you wish for, right? And even I think it was Dustin Johnson that said, I've always heard about these famous Tiger roars, but today I finally heard them.
Yeah, and just even people watching, like 18-year-olds. Last time he won was 10 years ago. You're 7 at that point. Like, there's a whole generation that I'm stealing it from Stu Gatz. I heard him say this the other day on the radio. It's like telling your kids about Michael Jordan, and on Sunday you got to sit down with your kids and like watch Michael Jordan.
Yeah. There's a guy that I teach with. His kid isn't even 6 months yet, I don't think, or not even a year. And he said he had his kid in his lap and turned it on, and it was like saying to him, "Now you're not going to remember this now, but Daddy's going to tell you later the Tiger was." And I just started laughing because that's really what kind of win it was. Hey, it was. I didn't have much to do this weekend, and I was plopped in front of that TV watching every single. I was thrilled that it was early too. I loved it.
Yep.
Yeah, I think us old people liked it.
When would the PT ever say he wants something earlier than later? But now on my new schedule.
Right. Pete Thompson, Tuesday with Thompson. Did you watch any Sixers?
I watched them look like crap the other night, if that's what you're asking.
What about last night?
You watched last night?
last night was, I mean, that's outrageous what they did in the third quarter. That's a clinic what they did in the third quarter.
You know what was outrageous? The traffic last night when the Sixers game was an 8 o'clock start and the Phillies game was a 7. So the late arriving Phillies traffic morphed in with the early arriving Sixers.
Did you hit traffic on the way up? I thought you said we talked about leaving, but
stinky.
On the way home, I got nothing.
Right.
Yeah, the way home.
Drove, MG?
Yeah, I drove.
Wow. See that, Ryan? You know, he couldn't rope you in to be the driver. There was nobody else to go. MG had to pilot.
I've driven up there by myself about 30 times this year.
Yeah, but you've never had it as bad as you had it last night.
Nah, I don't. Was it your worst?
No, I've been in work when they played Golden State at home. The traffic was brutal.
Yeah.
But last night was pretty bad because it was coming from different directions, and then they had certain streets closed because the Phillies game was going on, so you couldn't make that little cut down back behind right field or left field.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. There's a lot of look. They actually, believe it or not, they call it a traffic flow or a traffic pattern that they set up. To me, it's like, how can we screw you up? And
I don't understand. In all the years that they do traffic going in and out of that place, that they don't have a better line of flow of traffic.
Well, in their mind, they do have a better line now. I don't see it. You know, I mean, there's little tricks of the trade that I still use, as you know, where I'll pretend like I'm going to the Navy Yard and duck under 95 and loop around to a back gate or things like that. But that's only after the 20 minutes of abuse that I get from you when we're on 95 looking at that
Sixers Celtics game last year. I don't know that I could have been any more infuriated.
Oh, I knew you were Steven. I knew you were mad.
Oh, yeah.
But all I kept thinking of my salvation was next time you drive. Oh,
PT Game of Thrones?
No, not at all. I was so thrilled to hear that you guys are both in that camp as well. I just think I might have watched about 5 or 10 minutes in season 1. Like, everybody's talking about this. I better watch a little bit. And, you know, it kind of reminded me about the 1 or 2 times that the nerds, my classmates tried to get me to play Dungeons & Dragons. And I was like, no, I'd rather go actually flirt with the girls. I don't want to play D&D. So it was like that. Now, the difference is Game of Thrones is R-rated, so they actually put some boobies in there so you could, maybe pay attention. But even that's got to tell you, if that didn't hold my attention, sorry, I just don't get the...
You're out.
I'm out.
Great.
Yeah, I'm definitely out. Hey, that Moby song you played earlier, you know, he ripped that off from somebody else.
Really?
Yeah.
Porcelain?
I sent you a link. Porcelain, I sent you a link. This is something we did in my class. 12 hit songs in their original samples. A guy named Ernest Gold wrote it for the Exodus soundtrack in 1960. Moby said, thank you very much, lifted it, ran it in reverse, had a hit record.
Ran it in reverse?
Yeah, ran it in reverse.
Have you seen the guy? There's a guy on social media out there who can speak in reverse.
No.
Oh, that's craziness.
Yeah, you got to look him up.
Do we?
Can we have him with us if we've had too many Shastas? You can do the alphabet, no problem.
No, this guy, he speaks literally in reverse, every word.
That's where your mind goes, PT.
Like Missy Elliott.
Well, sure, you know, I'm a total rule follower.
All right, PT.
All right, MG, RR, good talking to you.
All right, man.
By the way, summertime's almost here.
Yes. Let's do it. Summertime. You and me and you.
We could have some good stuff coming up in the summer with the PT.
Whatever you'd like to do. Just tell me. And as long as you're driving and I don't get yelled at, I'm all for it.
What else is coming up is the LPGA.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. Now that I'm already stoked for. I'm already excited. I've been emailing some people. I went over. I got some new shirts, MG. So the good news is I got new shirts. The bad news is they're exactly the same color as one shirt I already have. So how the heck are you going to know that each shirt is different?
I'm out on that. All right.
Yeah.
Tuesday with Thompson. He's Pete Thompson.
You're the man. You're the man. You're the man.